It's January 2003, and a man walks out of a Wisconsin prison into the blinding winter light. He's 40 years old, but he moves like someone much older. 18 years behind bars will do that. Steven Avery stands on free ground for the first time since he was 22, exonerated by DNA evidence that proves what he screamed from his cell for nearly 2 decades. He didn't do it. The state of Wisconsin owes him everything. But within 2 years, Steven Avery will be back in handcuffs, charged with murder. And the county that stole 18 years of his life will be the same county building the case against him. Manitowoc County, Wisconsin, a stretch of small towns along Lake Michigan where everybody knows everybody and the sheriff's department runs like a family business. Steven Avery grows up here on a 40-acre salvage yard his family owns on the outskirts of 2 rivers. He's not a saint. He has a rough past, a limited education, and a few run-ins with the law. But nothing in his history prepares him for what happens on July 29th, 1985. That afternoon, a woman named Penny Berntsen is attacked on a Lake Michigan beach. She's brutally assaulted and left for dead. She survives. And when the sheriff's department shows her a lineup of photos, she points to Steven Avery. That single identification will destroy his life. The trial moves fast. Penny Berntsen takes the stand and identifies Avery as her attacker. Her testimony is devastating. She is credible, sympathetic, and absolutely certain. The jury barely hesitates. Steven Avery is convicted of sexual assault and attempted murder and sentenced to 32 years in prison. What the jury never hears is that 16 people are prepared to testify that Avery was somewhere else entirely at the time of the attack. They place him at a family gathering miles from that beach. The defense presents some of these alibi witnesses, but the prosecution's narrative holds. Eyewitness testimony, delivered with conviction, overwhelms everything else. What nobody knows yet is that the real attacker, a man named Gregory Allen, is already on local law enforcement's radar. Allen is a known predator with a history of assaulting women in the same area. According to records that surface years later, the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department reportedly receives information as early as 1995, linking Allen to the Berntsen assault. Nothing happens. Steven Avery stays in prison. For 18 years, Avery maintains his innocence. He files appeals. He writes letters. The system ignores him. Then in 2002, the Wisconsin Innocence Project takes his case and requests DNA testing on evidence from the original crime. The technology didn't exist in 1985, but it exists now. The results come back and they are unambiguous. The DNA belongs to Gregory Allen, who by this time is already serving a 60-year sentence for a different sexual assault. On September 11th, 2003, Steven Avery is officially exonerated. He walks free. The story makes national headlines. Here is a man the system chewed up and spit out, living proof that eyewitness misidentification can destroy an innocent person's life. Avery becomes the face of criminal justice reform in Wisconsin. Legislators draft the Avery Bill, a package of reforms aimed at preventing wrongful convictions. And Avery himself takes aim at the people who put him away. In 2004, he files a $36 million civil lawsuit against Manitowoc County, its former sheriff, and its former district attorney. Depositions begin. Officials are forced to answer uncomfortable questions under oath. The county is exposed. Careers are at stake. Reputations are on the line. Tens of millions of dollars hang in the balance. The pressure on Manitowoc County is immense. Then, on October 31st, 2005, a 25-year-old freelance photographer named Teresa Halbach drives to the Avery salvage yard to photograph a minivan for Auto Trader magazine. She is never seen alive again. Within days, investigators find her Toyota RAV4 hidden on the Avery property, partially concealed under branches and old car parts. They find her charred remains in a burn pit behind Avery's garage. They find her car key in his bedroom. They find a bullet fragment in his garage with her DNA on it. Steven Avery is arrested and charged with first-degree murder. The 2007 trial becomes one of the most watched in Wisconsin history. Prosecutors present a mountain of physical evidence tying Avery to Halbach's death. But defense attorneys Dean Strang and Jerry Buting present a counter-narrative that shakes the courtroom. They argue that Manitowoc County officers, the very men named in Avery's $36 million lawsuit, had access to the crime scene and allegedly planted evidence to frame him. The car key is found only after multiple searches of the same small bedroom, discovered by a Manitowoc County officer who was supposedly recused from the investigation. The blood found in Halbach's vehicle, the defense argues, could have come from a vial of Avery's blood stored in the county courthouse, a vial that appears to have been tampered with. The prosecution calls it a conspiracy theory. The jury calls it guilty. Steven Avery is convicted of Teresa Halbach's murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The case explodes into public consciousness in 2015, when Netflix releases Making a Murderer, a 10-part documentary that lays bare every questionable decision, every suspicious coincidence, every crack in the prosecution's case. Millions of viewers watch, and millions of viewers ask the same question. Did Manitowoc County, facing financial ruin and public humiliation, frame Steven Avery for murder to bury his lawsuit? Avery had settled the civil suit for $400,000 while awaiting trial, a fraction of the original $36 million, reportedly because he needed the money to pay for his defense. The timing is staggering. Today, Steven Avery remains incarcerated at Wopun Correctional Institution. His current attorney, Kathleen Zellner, one of the most successful wrongful conviction lawyers in American history, continues to file post-conviction motions. She has presented new forensic testing results, cell tower analysis, and evidence pointing to alternate suspects. She alleges that the investigation was fundamentally corrupted from the start. The state of Wisconsin has fought every motion. As of now, Avery's appeals continue to work through the courts. He maintains his innocence. He has maintained his innocence for nearly 40 years across 2 separate convictions. He was right the first time. So here's the question I want to leave you with. If the justice system already proved it got Steven Avery wrong once, how confident can we be it got him right the second time? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this case keeps you up at night the way it keeps me up, subscribe and turn on notifications. The next episode goes somewhere even darker.